What's up, fight fans? Greetings from the Wrestleverse. This is your boy Tijon, and it's time to take it to the ring. All right, man. So, let's get right into it. Last night was another fantastic event. It was the second part of their weekend extravaganza that GCW threw. This one was the If I Die First event, and wow, man, I was enthralled with it. It was amazing. I had a great time watching it. Every single match was intense, exciting. I loved it, man. And even though Texas was freezing cold, they really brought it, man. It was amazing. I love seeing these indie wrestlers and what they bring whenever they fight. It's awesome. So with that being said, let's get into the very first match. It was a excuse me, tag team match between Dante Leon, Ninja Mac, and Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. Now we knew that this one was gonna be, a pretty nice, high flying kind of athletic, agile fight. You can say a bunch of different adjectives for how this fight was gonna go down, but it was extremely entertaining, and we saw for a while Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne really go to town on Dante Leon. Dante Leon could not reach Ninja Mac for like a really long portion of this fight, was just getting hammered and somehow was able to survive, hit them both with this crazy DDT, put them both out, was able to hurry up and run to get Ninja Mac finally in there. And Ninja Mac, man, doing what he does best, flipping all around the ring, taking out both guys, throwing himself over the ring. That's actually a backflip that he did over the ropes. Just really showcasing his high flying abilities like we know Ninja Mac can do. It was just an awesome, awesome time and a great fight to watch. These two just brawled. I love fights like this, man, where it's clear that these guys, they want to put on a show and they're going to do anything possible to put on that show that the fans deserve. And it was just a great, great match. It ended after Ninja Mac hit like this corkscrew double front flip. I don't even know how he did it. It's one of those stunts that you just have to see, man. It's impossible to catch on screenshot, so I'm sorry you guys don't get to see it that way, but man, oh, it was a sight to behold, bro. Because of that, Ninja Mac got the pin over Nick Wayne. And I gotta say, I love the respect that was shown right after. I mean, this was a well fought match, so I'm really happy with seeing the respect shown after. I really appreciate that. You don't really see that a lot in bigger promotions, so seeing this in indie and seeing it like happen a lot is actually really dope. Well, one second, I see you, Keith. Let's see. I first saw Jordan Oliver in a promotion called UWA. He went on to Major League Wrestling. Oh yeah, I didn't know that, man. But I'm a fan of Jordan Oliver. That man isn't a scrub at all. That he's great. Like I love watching him wrestle. Like I said, I'm new to watching this indie stuff, man. But Jordan Oliver is one of them people that catches my eye every time that he steps in the ring. Him, I want to say Grim Reaper, Effie. Jesus Christ, there's plenty right now. The Dante Leon is another good one. Um, yeah, I'm sure it'll all come to me while we go through this list too. So, let's get back to it, man. Next up, we had another great match with John Wayne Murdoch coming into the ring, right? So he had both of his opponents back out. Just as a little context. There was a lot of technical difficulties coming into this. So, with both of his opponents, they actually weren't able to show up. So he obviously had some frustrations about that because he was ready to fight. He wanted a match, he wanted to put on a show for the crowd, and he let that be known. And so, he's talking trash about the two that weren't able to show up, talking about how they're ducking him, don't want this smoke, blah, blah, blah. And then he issues a challenge to whoever wants to fight him backstage to come on out. And mind you, in that first picture, that I showed there, he was throwing chairs already. Like you can see, he was grabbing chairs, throwing them in the ring. So you already knew what kind of match this was going to be. This was going to be one of those that was going to go and be a little heated because he clearly had some frustrations that he needed to work out, and whoever was going to step out was going to have to feel it. And surprisingly enough, ASF came out and was like, "Let's do this." Like, didn't show him any fear. He stepped out almost immediately, ready to fight. And props to ASF because he is a much smaller guy, but you know how agile ASF is, man. He's a great fighter, and I mean, it was a really tough match, but I mean, John Wayne Murdoch, man, he was beating the crap out of ASF. I mean, like you can see, like look at all that bad intentions in the face of John Murdoch as he takes that chair. Like he was beating the crap out of ASF with that chair for a while, man. It was a little rough to watch for a second, but ASF refused to go down without putting up a fight, man. I mean, you see, he was thrown into the crowd. There was a lot of crowd interaction, which is also something you don't really see in like the WWE promotions or anything big like that. So I really like seeing that. Like they're getting thrown into the chairs where the crowd is sitting. Like how crazy is that? But ASF really just hung in there, man. He did his best to put up a fight. He was flipping all over the ring, throwing himself outside of the ring just to get to Murdoch. He actually hit him a couple of times with a few good moves. Pipes, chairs, tables, doors, everything was used in this match too, guys. I mean, it was super intense. I don't even think you can tell in this picture, but ASF is actually standing on a door right now that's being balanced on the ropes. That's crazy to me. Like I was watching it, I was like, "What is this? This is like some circus stuff right now." Like it was just really impressive seeing this kind of performance and showmanship. Like you don't see this in the bigger promotions. I don't know why. And it's like this is what I've been missing. I was super entertained with this match. But John Murdoch definitely got the win. That much can definitely be determined after John Murdoch completely demolished ASF by slamming him into one of the doors that he had set up. That's not the one that he was standing on. It was the other one that was across the ring, and he just completely like dismantled him. It was over after that. ASF lost, but I mean, it was still a great match. He has my respect, stepping up against somebody like Murdoch and, like keeping it relevant, not keeping it, not letting it be a one-sided affair off of somebody who was clearly ready to beat down anybody who was ready to step up. And you being the smaller guy, you already are at a disadvantage. And he didn't care. That's a lot of courage. That's a lot of strength in ASF. And he made me a fan. I'm sure he got a lot more people to be fans of his yesterday. So, I'm impressed with that fight fully. Like I had a great time with that. Next we had that's just John Wayne Murdoch getting his hand raised, of course. But next we had this title match, the GCW Extreme title match versus Alley Catch and AJ Gray. Now these two are actually friends. It's actually known that they're friends. They're really cool. So it was surprising to see them fight, and it was a surprisingly intense fight. Like knowing that they are cool outside of the ring and inside the ring, they've teamed up before, and like knowing that background, it was really impressive to see these two really go at it. Like Ali Catch was trying to get that belt, doing everything that she could to get that belt from Gray. And I mean, Gray's the champion for a reason, man, and he was letting her have it. It's a difference between business and personal. You know what I mean? And he let it be known right there. I mean, look, a boot to the face. How can you stay friends with somebody who does that to you? You can't take it personal. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're coming after something that he earned. So, I didn't feel too bad about it, but it was just really interesting to watch this match because I mean, you couldn't even tell that these guys were friends off of how they were treating each other in the ring. But that's how it should be, especially when it's a title match. So I loved this match. These two refused to quit. It could have gone either way. I mean, both of them were beating the crap out of each other. it was crazy to watch because I thought that Ali Catch had enough to get it at a few points, and AJ Gray would just lift up that shoulder somehow, that championship mentality. And I mean, same thing, vice versa with AJ Gray almost pinning Ali Catch several times. Like just the 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 tenacity, I guess I would say, like the ability for these guys to not quit is real commendable, man. They put on a show. They put on an absolute show. But of course, AJ Gray maintained his belt after a vicious slam on Ali Catch. But I mean, it was it was a great match in my opinion. But what's that, key? Catch opponent should have been called the amazing AJ Gray, like the phenomenal AJ Styles. I I could see that. I think that he should put a little razzle dazzle on his name, but I think Ali should too. You know what I mean? These guys are really, really good, and I think that they're super respected in their promotion. You know what I mean? Like hearing the crowd go crazy for both of them, chanting their songs, chanting their names, not even knowing who to pick in the fight. I mean, like these two are staples. You know what I mean? So it was great. And Earl, man, yeah, it was energetic the entire time, bro. It was energetic the entire time. I enjoyed watching it, and I love the crowd's participation in it. I mean, like you don't really see that often, man. Like the crowd doesn't get to participate or be as electric in bigger promotions, but they are super close. You know what I mean? Like they're right on the ring. Whenever somebody goes flying out of the ring, they're almost about to hit somebody. Unless the people move out of the way, they're gonna get hit. Like I'm sure they sign liability waivers or something because there's no way that they're just gonna allow this carnage without some kind of precautions. I hope, or the fans are super cool, and are not gonna expect that payday from the promotion because I know if that was happening on WWE or anything like that, it would be a wrap, and that's why they have those barriers. Ain't no barriers in this one though, bro. Like it was awesome. I enjoy watching GCW, man. I'm a big fan of this promotion. And of course, like at the end too, you got to see that they were still cool after the fight. It was great, man. Like I like to see that they're able to keep, the wrestling and their personal friendship and everything like separate. Like it was just really cool because they were able to give a really great show. It would not have been as good if they took it easy on each other. That's just because they were friends. That much is true. You know what I mean? Um, Earl, New York wrestling is the best. Um, it was. It was better than this one, I'll give you that. But it was close. I think that the New York one was good just because they were like throwing stuff in the ring too. I mean, they were in Texas, but I mean the crowd was bigger in New York too. So that has that advantage. But I feel like the intensity of both crowds was pretty good. I think that the New York one was a lot more raw, a lot more rude. I don't really even really know the right words to describe it, but I mean they were throwing trash, beer, like that's some intense stuff to go up and and perform at. But I mean, it made for a really good show, and I think that that just brings out that competitive nature in the wrestlers when they step into New York. You know what I mean? And especially when they stepped into that event a few weeks ago. So I'm not hating on it. I'm not gonna debate that, but I feel like the Texas crowd really showed up, especially with it being cold. And I'm sure Texans aren't used to the cold, not like New Yorkers are. So they still showed up and they showed they were having a really good time. I ain't hating on it that bad. But next up, we had a fight between Jimmy Lloyd and Mike Bailey. Now, these two really were just challenging each other's power for the beginning of it. And it was more of a challenge to Jimmy Lloyd because Mike Bailey is like the more agile fighter, I want to say. And that was on display. So you can see them really teeing off at each other in the beginning of the match, just hitting each other with these big hits to the face, Irish whips, all that, just testing each other's um strength. And then all of a sudden the tide turned when the fight went outside, and then you see Mike Bailey just throwing himself out of the ring, flipping, getting his agility going, taking the fight the way that, his technique allows him to dominate. And Jimmy Lloyd really didn't have a answer for Mike Bailey after that. It just was really one-sided. I mean, we got back in the ring. Mike Bailey just beating him senseless down there, just pummeling him. And then we see the pin. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't much that Jimmy Lloyd had going. Yeah, he put up a few good fights, but I mean, it was nothing compared to what Mike Bailey was able to do. So he definitely earned that. I believe it was a one-sided victory. Props to Jimmy Lloyd for stepping up and trying, but you gotta prep for somebody like Mike Bailey, and he was not prepared. That much was for sure that we got to see. But still a really cool match. I like seeing Mike Bailey. I love wrestlers that love to fly out the ring. And that's almost every single person in GCW. Don't get me wrong, but I love seeing like those successful stunts, man. Those are great because I would never. Let's get one thing straight. There's not a lot of people in this earth that would just fly out of a ring in the chairs, no matter if they're plastic or steel or whatever, because that's gotta hurt regardless, man. I mean, you can see the back is a little bit red, but I mean, these guys really risk their bodies for, the sake of the sport and doing these stunts. Man, I gotta respect it. It's awesome. I love what they're able to do, and I love GCW for putting on this really, really great performance. Like, can't say enough about it. But then we had a super, super intense match with Psycho Clown and Gringo Loco, man. Like, there's some real heat, some real bad blood between these two, man. You could see it. I mean, Gringo Loco took the mic first, and I mean, Gringo Loco was like, talking trash on the mic to Psycho Clown, and I think they're both from Texas. I know that Gringo Loco is. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Psycho Clown is. I don't remember, but I believe that he was because I mean the crowd was chanting for both of them. So Gringo Loco takes the mic first, talking trash to Psycho Clown, and then Psycho Clown does the same thing, getting the crowd back on his side. So I mean, these two are like really going back and forth, just like battling for who can take the crowd and keep them on their side, right? Then the match starts. The match itself, I mean, Jesus Christ, these two, these two beat each other senseless, bro. I mean, absolutely senseless. Like it was crazy. You see, Psycho Clown gets thrown into the chairs. People had to move out of the seats like they did for most of the fight or most of the event. It was crazy, bro. It was absolutely intense. Like, um, Psycho Clown takes somebody's purse, or like this lady gives him her purse just to hit Gringo Loco in the back with it. Then he gives it back like a gentleman, which was super funny to watch. Like him be like, okay, here you go, and then go back to fighting and beating on Gringo Loco. Like this match had everything. It was super entertaining. Like it was all like I love the crowd involvement, man. You see everybody standing around just like, whoa, watching these guys go at it in their chairs. They probably have to set them back up themselves. It's just super fun, man. And I loved it, man. And Gringo Loco, bro, I mean, he was a monster. Tried to rip the mask off of Psycho Clown. And dog, that is wild. You don't do that. And the crowd was not happy with that. That is a big sign of disrespect. You don't do that to a luchador. But Gringo Loco clearly was like, nah, F that. We're going to find out who he is today. And was just ripping that top of his mask off. But luckily, the bottom stayed. I don't know if that counts. I guess not because he came back with another mask later. But yeah, I guess he keeps his identity intact. I don't know. It's a little weird. But I mean, it was still really interesting. But you can see the intensity. Here's another shot of the carnage that was like happening in this match. You know what I mean? Gringo Loco was going absolutely bonkers. Like he was like licking the blood off of Psycho Clown's face, biting him, just trying to get him to quit in any way. And I mean, Psycho Clown, his name is Psycho Clown for a reason. He got him back. He was like to bash him outside the ring, got him leaking. It was a super bloody match after a while. Dude, you got like if you didn't see this event, you gotta go watch it, especially if you're into like really intense matches that you don't see anymore. Bruh, GCW is your promotion to watch. I will 100% say that. Like these two went at it. It could have gone either way. I don't know I didn't know who was gonna win, This was one of those where I was just like I was just invested the entire time and I didn't care who won. I don't think anybody cared who won. They were just giving us a fight to remember. You know what I mean? It was just that good that it was just like, I don't know when I want this to end, but all I know is I'm having a great time watching it. That was all it was. I mean, then Gringo Loco jumps on this goalpost, flies down onto like these tables that he stacked Psycho Clown on, flies off, Swanton bomb style, breaks through the table. I mean, bro, I was speechless. Just like now, it's like you lose the words to describe what you witness when something like that happens. Like this is stuff that you would see on WrestleMania and stuff. Like these aren't things that you would think that you would see on the regular, but these people do this every single time they put on an event. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I mean, Psycho Clown did the same thing, jumping off of like another like beam like structure. I don't know what he jumped off doing like a frog splash, and you see like they didn't care at all for each other's safety. Like they were just like, I'm about to F you up. That's all I know. And that's what they did. And I mean, wow, I wasn't ready for the fight to be over. It was a long fight though, I gotta say. And Psycho Clown finally got the pin. He got it after like I think they called it a Spanish fly. It was like a backflip slam, and it was like through a door. Finally put Gringo Loco out. Psycho Clown finally gets the victory. But man, what a effing fight that was, bro. I loved it. I was super hyped. Everybody was hyped. Everybody was screaming. And now we afterwards they showed each other some respect afterwards off of a good fight. Even though Gringo Loco kind of like went crazy, it still was a good fight. And Psycho Clown then announced, we got to run this back. Let's do it again. I think they want to do it again in Texas. So the next time they're in Texas, I mean, Texans, y'all are in for a treat. Y'all get this same fight again. Lucky y'all, bro, because I haven't seen nothing like this in a minute. This was a fantastic fight, and I mean, there's nothing else that could be said about it. It was that good. It was definitely one of my favorites. It's hard to pick a favorite. There were so many good fights, and we still have like four more to go after this one. But man, it was great, bro. It was just a great fight. It had everything that you would want. It had weapons, it had crowd involvement, it had intensity from both fighters from the beginning to the end. Like, what more could you want in a fight? I was entertained the entire time. I'm gonna just leave it at that, and I'm gonna move on because I could talk about that match all day. So then we had a fatal five way. That one had Alex Zane, Deranged, Grim Reaper, the Dark Sheik, and Atticus Kogar. Atticus Kogar almost immediately was written off because nobody likes him, of course. And Atticus knows this. So he starts flipping off everybody, giving everybody the bird. And in response, they lay him out, like collectively hit him with like this super kick, take him out. You know what I mean? We think that that's going to be it. I thought it was like, okay, they just signed him. He's not going to be a factor in this for once. So we get to see everybody else wrestle. I was wrong. Everybody was wrong. Atticus Kogar is a dog, bro. Like, let's just get that straight. You have to give this man credit where credit is due. We may not like him, but he is a great wrestler. And he came back after getting those super kicks and started demolishing everybody. He's unstoppable sometimes. I gotta say, he's a great wrestler. He's been putting on a great performance too as a heel. He's a great heel. He plays his character well, man. I love to hate him. I love to hate him, and I hate to love him. It goes both ways, you know what I mean? But it's still it was just a great fight to watch. And especially Atticus Kogar's like just his antics. He smashed on one of Grim Reaper's blunts. Like, look, you can see Grim Reaper in the background just like distraught because he was trying to smoke on the top rope like he has been doing. And Atticus threw him down, took the blunt, and just stomped on it. Like, Jesus, like, this man is intense. He don't care about nobody. He just is down there to hurt people's feelings. We got to see then this crazy stunt that they pulled, like all five of them slammed each other basically after Deranged. So what you see here, let's get into it real quick. You see four people trying to slam each other off of the top ropes, right? Had each other like hand over head, like they were all trying to flip each other, right? Not Psycho Clown, Deranged comes out of nowhere, jumps over everybody, and uses his strength to power bomb everybody off. It goes horrible. It doesn't go the way he wants, and he ends up slamming himself along with everybody else on him. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's like flailing on the ground. But man, like it was an awesome, awesome fight. Grim Reaper pulls out another blunt. There's got to be some kind of power pill or cocaine or something in them blunts, bro. Because there is no way that gets like this boost of energy whenever he starts smoking, starts hitting everybody with elbows, putting everybody out that he gets in contact with. Is only like stopped by what's his name? Alex Zane. Alex Zane almost gets the pin. Um Zane gets thrown by Atticus Kogar. So let me back up. Alex Zane, like he slams the life out of Deranged. Once he slams the life out of out of Deranged, Atticus Kogar sees the pin about to happen, takes full advantage, flings Alex Zane into a ring post, and then takes the pin for himself. Was I mad at it? Absolutely not. If I'm being completely honest. I think that that was a great way for the fight to end, because it's not like it still wasn't earned by Atticus Kogar. He had a great showing. It could have gone to anybody, honestly, and I wouldn't have been mad. Maybe I would have been mad if Dark Sheik won because she was a bit of a non-factor in it. But everybody else, man, everybody else had really great moments, and it really could have gone either way. And to see Atticus Kogar win it in a fashion that fits Atticus Kogar, I think was a great way for it to end. And it was fun. It was a fun match, man. And I'm actually excited to see, what else he has in store. But man, he's sometimes rough to watch, especially when he skewers people. And he definitely started skewering Alex Zane, put those in his head, walks out the ring like, oh man, intense stuff, bro. Intense stuff. Won't see that nowhere else. At least not right now. You won't, big censorship. Probably won't even get to put this episode up with these pictures, but hopefully, right? Like, we'll see. But next up, we had the Laredo Kid versus Blake Christian. Now, you know what these guys are about. If you know their names, you know what they bring. Another high flying match, flips everywhere, like high energy, fast paced match. And these two went to town, man. I mean, you see right here, they both like were doing the same moves at one point. Like their skill set is so matched that it was just so even. And it was so great to watch and so entertaining because you see them doing the same kind of flips and then they start varying their styles a little bit once they realize, I'm not gonna hit him with this because he already knows it's coming. So after a while you start seeing, a little bit of variations every now and then. And man, it was just a great match. Like you can see here, they're standing on the top ropes together. I think Laredo Kid was about to fling Blake Christian out of existence. It didn't go well. Like they were just reversing each other. When it comes to these luchador-esque matches, not even luchador-esque, no, they are luchador matches. Like when it comes to this style, man, like you can expect these turns and twists that seem utterly impossible for a human to make. And somehow they're doing it. Not only doing it like effectively, but doing it in the air also. Like these guys are doing things to their body that like nobody should be able to do. And it's always fun to watch. I don't know how they do it. I love watching it though. You know what I mean? But Blake Christian got the pin after a well-deserved fight, man. This was a great fight to watch. Super intense. I don't want to give too much away. You have to watch this one too. Like, man, Go back and watch this stuff, guys. If you don't watch GCW, you have to watch it. These guys honestly belong in the same limelight that WWE does. I swear, I swear. And I'm mad at myself that I never really even gave this a chance because I'm having a great time watching this stuff. I'm having a great time, and it's a lot more fun than than a lot of other WWE events that I've watched so far. I gotta say, like I'm calling a spade a spade. Like GCW really has it on lock right now, and you see some more respect being shown here between Laredo Kid and Blake Christian. Like these guys really, they do it for the fans, man. You can see it. They put on a really great show for you for us. It's amazing because, like I said, they're doing things to their bodies and putting themselves through all this extra stuff just to put on a great show, and it shows. You know what I mean? It's not like it doesn't look scripted really. It doesn't feel like it. It just feels like people that just want to scrap, go out there, get it done, give the fans exactly what they want, and then that's it. And as a fan of the sport, and as like, yes, exactly, or like AEW, almost exactly like AEW. But I think that GCW is good in its own right now. I don't even want to compare it to AEW anymore. But yeah, it is like AEW, and I'm not gonna say it's like AEW no more because GCW, man, I respect what they're doing because it's something that we're not seeing anymore, and because of that, they have this hold on a certain audience um that's been getting like missed, since WWE really went mainstream, you know, that intensity factor, that like no F's given kind of attitude has been lost, and it's back. It's back when it comes to this promotion, and I love it. I definitely love it. But we're gonna go to the last fight now. Now this one was against some legends, man, and you can't even tell in this one who it is, but it's Joey Janela versus Dr. Wagner Jr. Now, I mean, I didn't know who Dr. Wagner Jr. was, but the crowd did, and they let everybody know, and even the announcers were like, "Man, this guy is an absolute legend in wrestling in as a whole." And it showed, man. I mean, let me go back to it. Like he was putting Joey Janela through the ringer. And I mean, you can tell Dr. Wagner is not a young guy. Not he's definitely not as young as Joey Janela. But these two showed little to no respect to each other, flipped each other off for almost half of the fight. It was a slow burner. If I'm being completely honest, it was a slow burner. There was a lot of build up to it. In the beginning, it was real slow, kind of boring, and it just picked up intensity as the time went on. It was a pretty long match. It was a pretty long match, I gotta say. But I had a really great time watching it, man. I mean, you see Dr. Wagner pick up one of the crowd's chairs. He said F a steel chair. Probably ran out of steel chairs, but using whatever he could to put some damage onto Joey Janela, and put damage on him. He effing did. I mean, he had Joey Janela leaking this fight, bro. Like that's not even half of what he looked like by the end of the fight. I I almost took a picture of it, but that would get flagged. I know that for a fact. I couldn't put that up. If you want to see that much blood, then you got to really watch it yourself because this man was literally drenched from head to toe in blood. I don't even know how he was able to continue fighting for as long as he did. It was just all red, super crazy. Oh, thank you, Keith. Yeah. So he's actually a Mexican luchador wrestler who I believe working in AAA. I think that checks out. I know he was a luchador, and I know they said that he got unmasked sometime last year or a year and a half ago. And that's interesting because like I said, that's a really big deal when that happens because that's their whole identity like gone. But I mean, he seems to have embraced it, and it is. I mean, this man is crazy, man. The stuff that I saw him doing was insane. But Joey Janela didn't back down at all. Didn't miss a step. Was flying off the top ropes. Like I mean, doing what he does. It was a really great fight still. It wasn't fully one-sided. And the best way that it ended, I mean, as you can see, Joey Janela set up these chairs like a mountain. There's like 10 chairs up there right now. And what he was trying to do was slam Dr. Wagner into him, failed miserably. Dr. Wagner just grabs him off the top rope like a child and throws him in the pile, completely ending him right then and there. Dr. Wagner gets the pin. And I was surprised. I thought it was going to be one of those, I'm just fighting to fight because I like to fight. So I don't care if I lose. I just wanted to, relive the glory days a little bit. That's what I thought the match was going to be, especially in the beginning. That's what it kind of felt like. And I was completely wrong because Dr. Wagner, man, put on a performance, man. You could see it all in the carnage that he left in the ring and on Joey Janela's face, bro. It was crazy. So after he gets the win, Psycho Clown comes back out, throwing chairs all into the ring, like really disrespecting Dr. Wagner. And Dr. Wagner was mouthing off to him and lets it be known that these two are going to fight very soon. When? I don't know. I have no clue. But these two have to fight because they clearly have a lot of anger and animosity. Maybe he was the one that unmasked him. I have no idea. All I know is that they hate each other. And that was very clear to see. So I can't wait to see these two fight because it's probably going to be just as insane as both of their previous fights just were. I mean, Psycho Clown's match was super bloody. Dr. Wagner's match was super bloody, but Dr. Wagner came out way cleaner than Psycho Clown did. That is undebatable, So we'll see how their match goes, but you can tell it's going to be intense because, I mean, people had to separate these two before the fight started right then and there. Like they had to, the promotion ran out of time in the venue. They had to get up out of there because they were gonna have this like go on, and I mean these two are ready to go to blows. So, hopefully we see this really, really soon. I can't wait. I have no idea where GCW is going to take this. All I know is that I am fully invested. I'm fully invested in the GCW. So, with that being said, let's get right into the ratings, man. So, as you know how we do things here. We do things as a 5-star rating, like 1 to 5. So 5 stars being fight forever, 4 stars, this is awesome, 3, you still got it, 2, what, and 1, boring. Like, don't watch it. There's no reason. You might as well watch me or watch some of my co-hosts because we'll just do it better. You know what I mean? But I mean, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna give this one my first 5 stars, bro. I have no like I think that it deserves it. This was a great fight, and it's like an itch that hasn't been scratched in a long time, guys. I gotta be honest. Like GCW, since I started watching a few weeks ago, has left me utterly impressed. Like it's everything that you would want the WWE to be. And the WWE is entertaining. I'll be honest. I still have a great time watching it. This is not knocking WWE that much. I enjoy it. I enjoy it thoroughly, but it's not like it used to be. That much is 100% for certain, and that's okay. Change happens, but this promotion has capitalized on it completely, bro. I mean, what we're seeing with GCW, or at least what I've been seeing, has been exactly what has been missing in the wrestling world. And it's crazy how they don't have that much of a I don't think that their platform is as big as it should be. And it really, really should be way bigger than what it is. Keith, thank you, bro. Yes, a very evil 5 stars, but I like the evil. Very nice, very evil 5 stars indeed, bro. Like we need it. This is what we need though. We need this kind of intensity. We need this kind of, ruggedness, this raw edge type of fighting that we see going on, bro. I think that they're capitalizing on it very well, and I can't wait to see more fights. I think that they're only going to get more fans. Hopefully they get more pushes and more people to watch it. Shoot, I will lead the crusade, bro. I'm going to get more people to watch it too, man, because I mean, these guys too, like let's just talk about the wrestlers alone. Like for them to put on such a big show, knowing it's an indie promotion, probably not getting the same amount of money or whatever, it doesn't matter. These guys just have a passion for it. You know what I mean? And you can see the passion. The one thing that I always have preached about since joining this stuff is the biggest thing that I like to see is hunger. I love seeing the hungry fighters. I watch the prelims. I watch prelims of UFC fights and boxing fights just because um the fighters are hungrier. They want those big bucks to come in, so they have to prove themselves. And so normally the fights are sometimes actually more intense. They might not be as experienced, but the intensity is there, and that's the entertainment. So I mean, you can see it in this. All it is intense from start to finish. There's nobody, lacking on the gas. There's none of that. There's absolutely none of that. You're gonna get entertainment from start to finish. Earl, I can respect that. I can definitely respect it. I was fighting the whole time, because I was like, do I give it a 4 or do I give it the 5? It was super impressive. But oh man, I gotta give it. I gotta at least give one 5-star. I haven't given a 5-star yet, and I've been doing this for like a month. I feel like I'm being stingy. And this one was really good, man. This was probably one of the best events that I've seen so far this year. It was complete, you know? It was very, very complete. Yeah, exactly, Earl. Exactly. The WWE hasn't really cared that much about the quality. And I think we touched on that yesterday on the podcast. It's lacking. And so I think that they need to start taking some pointers, but unfortunately they are censored, because of their platform. They've reached such a pinnacle that they can't do the stuff that GCW can do. And I hope to God that GCW does not go into television like that. They keep doing what they're doing, but they just take over in a way that everybody keeps watching it. I mean, just take over. Just keep doing what you're doing and take over, bro. That's my biggest take on this. GCW is hot right now, and people need to give it a chance. So, that's all I got, guys. As you can see, like I said, I love this. I love GCW, and I'll be sure to tune into the next one, and I'll give you guys my recap. Tune in with me, man. Comment on the TTR page. Look at the Instagram links down there, down below. Follow the All Real Crew. DM us. I will. We check the page every other minute because we be bored. So anything that y'all want to talk about, anything that y'all are like looking forward to, any ideas that you guys have, any theories, let us know, bro. We're here. And I mean, of course, like and subscribe, follow, because there's plenty that you'll see, and there's plenty more to come. And I mean, until next time, guys, I can't wait to see I can't wait to, bring some more entertainment to y'all and, give y'all more of my hot takes. So, until next time again, guys, keep it real.